relationship between yoga and the Alexander Technique. And today we're going to talk about constructive rest, which typically when you take an Alexander lesson is your homework, where you can do this at home or take a break from work or wherever you are and lie down basically for 5, 10, 15 minutes and give your body a chance to sort of recoup and reorganize and release the tension and holding that might be in your body. And it's recommended to do typically in the morning and maybe in the evening as well. And in terms of a yoga application, it's very similar to Shavasana after before a yoga practice, where you lay in corpse pose on your back. And in constructive rest, we lay on our back, but we actually have our feet flat with our knees bent. And what that does is it releases the lumbar curve, lengthens the spine. And we use books. I have some books here, and I actually like to use these are plays. These are different plays. And I like to use these when I have an Alexander student, because when they're on the table and I'm working with them doing table work, you can take one or two of these out as their back sort of lengthens and their spine sort of lengthens, and you can adjust the position of their head. And so typically in the Alexander Technique, in the Alexander world, Alexander recommended books because they're a little bit hard. If you use a pillow that's too soft, your head is going to sink deeply into the pillow. And what we want to do is we want to elevate the head just enough to where we have this little bit of an angle, and we're not forcing the head back because we don't have anything under it, and we don't want to have too much where we crush the throat. We want to have just this kind of perfect amount where we're actually lengthening the neck and we're lengthening the spine. And when we're laying down, we're lengthening the entire spine, and we don't want that to stop where the neck begins, which is of course the spine. So let's proceed to actually lay down. And there's a couple different ways of doing this. If you have a teacher, they'll assist you in laying down. And so whatever's comfortable for you to lay down. Again, this is a regenerative process here, so we don't want to injure ourselves or pull a muscle by actually getting into the position. So now, what we want to do is we're laying down on our backs. We can have our palms up, or we can have our palms on the stomach, whatever's more comfortable for you. And we're thinking our directions, our Alexander directions, which are let the neck be free so the head can go forward and up. And up, because we're laying down, is just away from our body. So we're thinking expansion. We're thinking of our spine just expanding. So let the neck be free so the head can go forward and up, so the back can lengthen and widen. And now all we're doing is we're letting the weight of our body just pull us down onto the floor. And we do want to be on a hard surface. We want to be either on a yoga mat or a carpet. It doesn't have to be extreme, but if we do this on a mattress, it's going to defeat a little bit of the purpose of it, because that cushion is not going to help us stretch this spine out as a hard surface would. And what's also happening here is we're releasing all the tension. The muscles along the spine can release, the diaphragm muscles can release, these neck muscles can release. And so we really just want to stay here for a minute and think about lengthening the spine, the knees going out and away, and the feet both planted firmly on the ground. What also happens here is the discs are full of fluid, And the spine, when we've been working all day or lifting something heavy or just through bad habits, is that fluid tends to leave. The fluid gets pushed out, and this gives our body a chance to replenish that fluid. Through the lengthening of the spine, those discs can expand a little bit and regenerate. So a lot of people have had great success with just doing this constructive rest. There's stories of people that didn't have an Alexander teacher in their area and had back pains or neck pains and were instructed just to do this constructive rest several times a day until they could see an Alexander teacher, and were much, much improved by the time they actually did. So we've been here for a couple minutes. I don't want to just stay here for the full 10 or 15 minutes. But getting up is an issue, actually. We don't want to, we're feeling some release. We're feeling the muscles kind of let go, the tension maybe let go. And you might notice a change in the breathing also. You know, typically when you do this, you'll notice that the breathing slows down, becomes deeper, more relaxed. So when you get to that point, you want to obviously get up again. So what we're going to do to get up is similar to what I learned, you know, as a yoga teacher, is if you were in Shavasana pose, you don't want to just jump right back up. You want to maintain that relaxation and that sort of healing from after the yoga session. Let your body regenerate itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift our right arm up, and we're going to roll over, bend our left and support our head, and we're going to come into this almost fetal position, resting our head on our arm. And we're going to wait here a minute, and now we're going to take, my right arm is going to push down on the ground, and I'm going to support my head, and I'm going to come back up to a seated position. And I like to just stay here for a minute, to be honest. You know, when I do my yoga practice, or when I do this constructive rest on the ground, you know, when you're laying fully down on the ground, and I'm a tall person too. I'm 6'5", so I don't want to just jump all the way to a standing position, because I will get lightheaded sometimes, and you know, I like to give myself a chance to sort of regroup. So coming back to the sitting position, and then from here I'll lean forward and I'll get up. So that's what I like to do to end the constructive rest. So I hope this was useful, and please let me know what you think, and all the best.